everybody, it's Monday, and that means it's Europe Day on GavsWeatherVids.com. Every Monday I have a look at the European weather for the week ahead, and this Monday is no different, so let's get on with things. Before I get on with the video, by the way, I just want to talk about the advertising. There'll usually be a video ad overlaying my web videos here at GavsWeatherVids.com. Please play those video ads because you'll be supporting GavsWeatherVids.com if you do that. So I'm just going to get rid of my face there, get rid of that. Okay, and there we go. We're looking at the charts from Weather Central for the weekend across the European continent. And this is the situation today across the continent. We've got an area of high pressure there bridging into France, and that's bringing a lot of settled weather into the west and the southwest of Europe. Big area of low pressure though sitting in the Baltic, and that's bringing a lot of rain to much of central and northern Europe, particularly around Scandinavia, in towards Denmark and much of Germany, and on in towards Poland as well. We have got some showers from that area of low pressure. The settled weather is down to the southwest. The British Isles and Ireland in a bit of a cold, but it's not too bad across the Britain and Ireland today. And then down across Italy, we've got an area of low pressure across northern Italy, bringing some thunderstorms, and things are quite slack down in towards Greece, but a lot of dry weather, just the outside chance of a few thunderstorms. So having a look at the upper air temperatures, well, it's still quite a cool scene across much of northern Europe. Of course, we've got an area of low pressure sitting in the Baltic Sea, and around Scandinavia it is unsettled there with some pretty cool air really. And I say really for much of northern Europe the temperatures are quite cool, the upper air temperatures. But warmth is really to be found down in the south of the Mediterranean. It is turning much hotter now through the Mediterranean, particularly the heat focused around central and southern parts of Spain. Some really hot temperatures there coming out of North Africa, but the bulk of the Mediterranean is actually quite hot now, with temperatures well up into the 30s Celsius. So having a look at the precipitation, well, this is showing precipitation for Britain and Ireland. I don't think there's going to be too much around, maybe a shower, but really a lot of dry weather for Britain and Ireland. Still some precipitation across northern France, but much of central, southern and eastern France actually having a lot of dry weather. This shows quite a bit of precipitation. I think it should be actually fairly dry across much of central France. But really unsettled weather is up in this central and northern part of Europe, and then down in towards the southeast. Now, central and northern Europe got that low pressure, so there's quite a bit of rain around up there, particularly around the Baltic and into parts of Sweden and some parts of Finland as well, actually having some quite heavy precipitation. Showers for Norway, and then I think we're looking at showers really, or few showers, maybe a thunderstorm across parts of Germany in towards Poland, and then on in towards Ukraine. So it's still quite an unsettled picture for Poland and Ukraine. And then as we come southeastwards in towards Greece and Turkey, well, we have some heavy thunderstorms around, but also some drier spells as well. The Cape, the convective potential, showing that we have got some convective potential really in this southeastern part of Europe, but really I think not too much in the way of convection here across the bulk of the continent. That's because it's generally quite cool up in the north. Excuse me, in terms of temperatures, well, we're looking at a very cool scene across Britain, Ireland, much of central northern Europe, in towards the Low Countries, in towards Germany, Poland, and even into Ukraine. Temperatures are quite on the cool side really. The heat is really down through the Mediterranean. It is those Mediterranean countries that have the higher temperatures, with temperatures well up into the 30s, possibly up to 36 degrees perhaps in some places, particularly down in towards Spain. In fact, into Spain, because the temperature's up to 38, that's around 100 Fahrenheit. So, having a look as we go on in towards the middle of the week, and well, things are starting to change a bit now. We've got low pressure developing to the west of Ireland, and that's going to bring up some warmer air then from the Mediterranean up into the central parts of Europe, and things very slack really then through much of the central and eastern and southern parts of Europe. So for the upper air temperatures, well, we've got that low pressure out to west. As I say, that's bringing up the heat out of the Mediterranean up into this western side of Europe. So we are going to see an increase in temperatures through the British Isles, through much of France, and then through the Low Countries as well, parts of Germany. I think we will be seeing higher temperatures pushing northwards. It's still quite a cool scene up across Scandinavia, parts of Latvia as well. Quite a cool scene up there. West of Russia as well. Not really desperately warm. The warmth, I think, really is going to be in this western and central part of the continent. And again, through the Mediterranean, we will have some quite high temperatures. So in terms of the precipitation, well, I think it could be set off some thunderstorms across Britain and Ireland on Thursday. Could be some quite nasty thunderstorms there, and thunderstorms extending down in towards France as well, around the Pyrenees. Yes, there could be some thunderstorms, but really for much of Spain and Portugal, it's a dry scene. Dry also through the western basin of the Mediterranean. Some thunderstorms possibly over the mountains of Italy, but otherwise fairly dry weather across Italy. And things are drying out across central and northern Europe as well. Still a few showers around, but not as much in the way of rain as we've got at the moment. I think things will be a good deal drier across central and northern parts of the continent through the course of middle of the week. And then as we go in towards this eastern part of Europe, so again we're looking at Ukraine, some showers around Ukraine and possibly down in towards parts of Hungary and Romania as well. For the Cape, the convective potential of the convection really for Thursday is going to be on this western side of Europe. So Britain, down in towards France, in towards the Low Countries, parts of western Germany, and then down in towards the south of France and around the Pyrenees. That's where the convective potential is going to be on Thursday. Some very high convective potential there for France. Could be some really, really intense thunderstorms being set off over France around the middle of the week. Not too much convection up to the northeast, that's because it's still quite cool, and maybe some convection going on over the mountains of Italy, but really this southeastern part of the continent probably not seeing too much convection either. For temperatures for the middle of the week, well, it's a much warmer scene on this western side of Europe. As I say, we've got some very high temperatures coming up into France, temperatures up into the 30s Celsius, so we're up in towards the 80s, low 90s Fahrenheit. The heat does go on up in towards the British Isles and Ireland. Those temperatures will be picking up to around the 80 Fahrenheit mark, and much of Germany seeing temperatures increasing as well. But the north of Europe, across Scandinavia, the temperatures are on the cool side, and it's quite a warm scene really down towards this southeastern part of Europe. But the heat, I say, is really for Spain, Portugal, up in towards the south of France. Temperatures not far from 100 Fahrenheit in those areas. Well, then as we go on in towards next weekend, or in towards the coming weekend, we're going to find that low pressure still around the northwest of Europe, and now it's starting to introduce much cooler, fresher weather to the British Isles. We've still got the heat then being pushed over towards the eastern side of Europe, and that's where the convective potential is going to be a bit of a ridge there, setting up across the west of Russia, but really there's gradients are still quite slack here across the bulk of the continent, and that low pressure up in the northwest is the main driving feature for the northwest of Europe. So for precipitation, well, we are looking at a lot of precipitation around the northwest of Europe. That's mainly in the form of showers or long spells of rain. Thunderstorms really will be from the east of France up in towards Germany, and then through up in towards Denmark and maybe some parts of those Baltic areas. There could be some thunderstorms there. Mainly dry again through the bulk of the Mediterranean, Spain, Portugal, a lot of dry weather extending through the bulk of the Mediterranean, so lovely holiday weather really. You're off down to the Med for next weekend. The Cape, the convective potential, well, the thunderstorms have shifted onto the eastern side of Europe for the end of the week, so we're looking at thunderstorms really for Germany, Poland. Comes some very violent thunderstorms in Poland actually at the for the weekend, and around Germany as well, extending down in towards the mountains of Italy also. But as I say, the bulk of Mediterranean having a lot of dry weather and not much convection up in the northwest, that's because it's turned much cooler. For temperatures finally, well, it is much cooler in the northwest, so the warm-up for Britain and Ireland only very, very temporary around Thursday, then it cools down again. The heat is really for this central and eastern part of Europe, 30 into the 30s Celsius for much of Germany and Poland, down in towards Austria. Some very high temperatures, and going down in toward the Balkans and into Hungary as well. Those temperatures well into the 30s Celsius, so that's where the heat is. But as I say, that's where the thunderstorms are as well. The west is cooling down, though still quite warm across France, and still very warm through Iberia, with some very high temperatures still around the 100 Fahrenheit mark for parts of northeastern Spain. So that's the weather for the weekend across Europe. It is looking as though it is quite a warm sea now across the bulk of the continent. A lot of warm weather, that warmth even extending up into the northwest, but really for north and west of the continent, so Scandinavia, Britain, Ireland, that's where we have the coolest of the temperatures. The warmth is really for central, southern and eastern parts, although it does temporarily warm up in the northwest through the course of this middle part of the week, but it doesn't last too long. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.